Houses standing in water surrounded by sandbags. Devastating floods. Land hungry for water or crops destroyed by inland water. All of us have some experience about the power and the harmful effects of water. Water destroys and gives life at the same time. Water is what we fight against and what we fight for. Against it and for it. For us. It's our natural need to protect ourselves. Protection against water on the national level forms a complex multiple-purpose system. We meet its construction projects everywhere without knowing their functions. Yet they all serve water damage prevention. Nowadays, water damage prevention is expected to fulfill a number of purposes, some of which are opposed to each other. The realization of technological operations which secure the prevention from damages caused by water shortage as well as excess water and which keep damages at the lowest possible level. The fields of preventive technological actions which form a unity are as follows: flood control, lowland drainage, watershed control in sloping country, municipal drainage, river economy and lake regulation, water distribution, water supplementation. We regard water damage prevention as part of Hungary's security policy because the climate of the Carpathian Basin is characterized by extremes. Sometimes there is abundance of water, sometimes there are long periods of drought. 1/5 of the area of Hungary is threatened by flood, while half of it is threatened by drainage water. Technical leader of the protection is the Water Authority. What have we done so far? After some successful attempts and some failures, the regulation of the Tisza brought a second conquer of the land. As a result of this, uniquely in Europe, we have set 21,000 square kilometers of land free from flood and drainage water by building 3,900 kilometers of designed bank line and nearly 12,000 kilometers of drainage channel. During the protection works, the water which was originally spread in the floodplain was pushed back to the first bottom by building embankments. The water could now flow down at a higher level. The protected area has been free of floods since then. The embankments needed to be strengthened several times due to the rising of flood levels. Dikes, however, cannot be risen endlessly. Therefore, restoring the channel capacity of the first bottom gained much importance, as well as the utilization of emergency reservoirs. The excess water from outside the embankment area had to be led into the rivers. The main construction projects to protect against excess inland water, drainage channels, drainage pump plants have been built. Drainage channels must be designed to fulfill a twofold task. In wet weather, they let water out, while in dry weather, water supplementation can be carried out through them. In the past 200 years, water damage prevention projects have become part of the countryside because the natural scenery is always taken into consideration during technological work. While the protected floodplain makes human activity possible, the wide bottomland, the dead branches and barrow pits provide habitat for a rich flora and fauna. We do not need to give life back to the rivers, a very fashionable thing in Western Europe, because we have never taken it from them. The protection work against flood and drainage water is a basic factor in the nation's economical security. A significant part of the infrastructure, 15% of the roads and 32% of the railroads, is in flood areas. National assets worth billions of forints, industrial plants, arable lands can be found here. One-fourth of the inhabitants of the country live in the areas protected by the embankments. Therefore, we can say that the history of our country is also the history of protection against water damage. Protection against water damage is not only the task of people in plain areas. The rare, heavy rains may cause very quick floods, which can last for hours. Due to the very fast flow, we must put emphasis on prevention in such cases. We can intervene in the order of nature only if we respect nature. This is a basic goal in the case of water damage protection projects because they can only function this way. Most construction projects are made of natural materials, earth and stone. They fit into their environments, fulfilling nature conservation regulations as well as landscape aesthetic rules. Besides the protection against flood and drainage water, we must prevent water shortage in dry periods. The water supplementation and rediscation of the ana branches and dead branches has begun. Water shortage causes problems in agriculture as well as in river navigation, in drinking and industrial water supply, and in nature. Water supplementing and distributing systems are capable of interbasin diversion to other regions. For example, more than 100 million cubic meters of water is diverted into the Kőres Valley every year, with ecological and water supplementing purposes. The construction projects must be maintained and developed when necessary. These are preventive water damage protection actions. In the case of emergency, protection tasks must be done on the embankments. These tasks are as follows: protection against flood, protection against drainage water, local water damage prevention in sloping country, water damage prevention in municipal areas, water quality damage prevention, drought damage prevention in the case of water shortage. These are the operative actions of water damage prevention. Preventive and operative actions are not separable. They are closely related. For example, there is less operative work on a carefully built embankment. The interests are different in the case of irrigation and flood prevention. The profit of the farmer comes immediately after irrigation, while a newly built channel may not be used for years to prevent a drainage water emergency. Maintenance and the necessary development tasks and the actual prevention form the system of water damage prevention. Water management and water damage prevention projects serve several purposes, among which we can find a number of nature conservation and touristic purposes as well. According to the law about water management, it is the task of the owners to maintain the construction projects serving water damage prevention. It is also their task to bear the costs. The construction projects for prevention are in state, council, and private ownership. Each owner has its own well-defined task to do, for which it is also responsible. In the state-owned construction projects, this task is fulfilled by those organizations that have the administrative rights. Among them, water authorities and water management companies represent a large proportion. One of the most important tasks of the local authorities is municipal water management. The responsibility of the inhabitant is also important in maintaining the serviceability of the channels. The cheapest way of maintenance is prevention. The technical and technological control of the flood and drainage prevention is the task of the water authority involving other state organizations